Today we will do the critical background or literary criticism in the age of Coleridge. When Coleridge took to writing, there flourished in England a particular school of criticism which is called variously as neoclassical, pseudo-classical, Augustan, or loosely even the classical school of criticism. Now, what is classicism? Neoclassicism may be defined as a kind of a veneration for the Roman or Greek classics thought and way of life. In other words, neoclassicism implies a respect for the rules and principles of Aristotle and other Greek and Roman critics as interpreted and modified first by the Italian critics and then by the French critics of the reign of Louis the 14th. Now, what are the chief features of the neoclassical creed? These may be summarized. Point number one, the precept or the rule to follow nature is the center of the neoclassic creed. Now, nature is, however, used in a number of senses. A, it means external beauty or reality, which the poet must imitate and hence follow nature, which becomes realism or verisimilitude. So, this is one interpretation of following nature. Number two, nature also meant general human nature, that is, qualities which are common to all men in all ages and countries. Thus, the poet must deal with the universals and not with the particular, the individual, or the singular. C. Nature or to follow nature also meant the typical qualities of a particular age or sex or profession. Thus, the poet must be true to type. D. To follow nature or nature also meant the principles or the power that governs the universe. Order, regularity, harmony were supposed to be the qualities of this power, and so literature must also have them. Next, E, to follow nature also meant to follow the rules of the ancient masters, for they were based upon nature. And so, to follow those rules was to follow nature herself. Therefore, the ancients must be our study and delight. Now, artists were supposed or expected to write according to these rules. It was supposed that great literature was not possible without adherence to these rules. Hence, respect for rules emerges as one of the cardinal features of neoclassicism. That was point number one, to follow nature. Now, point number two, emphasis was laid on correctness, reason, and good sense. The artist must follow the rules correctly, and any exuberance of fancy or emotion must be controlled by reason or good sense. A balance therefore must be maintained between fancy and judgment. So the first rule was to follow nature. Second was on reason and good sense. Next, number three, the poet must deal with universal truths and general ideas. The emphasis was on formal finish and perfection rather than on content. So, structure was important. Point number four, the function of poetry was to instruct and delight. The moral function was considered more important than the aesthetic one. Therefore, it was expected that the poet must suitably reward virtue and punish vice. Point number five, much thought was given to the style and diction of poetry. That is, there should be a difference between the language of prose and the language of poetry. The language of poetry should be noble and elevated. Common words were supposed to be avoided. And this way arose the artificial poetic diction which Wordsworth condemned in his preface. The need for decorum was also emphasized. Different kinds of poetry should have different styles proper to them. For example, the diction which is proper to satiric poetry would be improper for epics. Therefore, there should be different dictions for these different kinds of genres. So that ends the main features of the literary criticism of the age of Coleridge, because a critical background is important to understand the main text, which we will do in my next lecture.